What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. At Justin's house today. If you don't remember the truck we did the gauges on. We did gauges on that truck not too long ago, and today we're gonna be doing amp steps on it. I've wanted to get my hands on a step for a long time for my truck. I just haven't pulled the trigger on them, but he did. He decided enough was enough. Needed some good steps that look good being tucked away and work good. So we're gonna help him today install these. So the mounting of the steps themselves, they give you your brackets. The labeled box is real nice. I already looked through the instructions. Seems pretty straightforward, but you do want to make sure if you're doing this by yourself that you have a pretty good grasp on what you're doing. The actual mounting of the steps isn't going to be bad, but a lot of these Dodge trucks, and I'm sure they're not just Dodge trucks, but this truck in particular, you don't get the OBD plug. So a lot of trucks, they have an OBD2 port plug that you plug in, and that controls the steps, and that's as far as the wiring goes. Just run everything, make it nice. These Dodge trucks, this one's an 06 in particular, you have to actually go in and hardwire the harness into all four doors. And they found a way to make that pretty simple looking at the instructions. But it's still something you're gonna have to do, and that's really what I'm excited to walk through, is how to make that happen and do it right and nice. But we're gonna get started on putting the steps on the truck. Like I said, it's not gonna be difficult. It's more time consuming than anything. Just making sure that when you're doing this, you want everything as right as possible. Take your time, make sure everything is where it needs to be. Make sure everything's straight. When you're putting your step boards on, make sure they're right. You know, measure, and just make sure you don't have to go back for a second time. But anyway, I'm gonna set you guys up. We're gonna go through, we're gonna start mounting the steps to the truck. The way the instructions want you to do it, you're gonna mount the hinges, you're gonna mount step boards, you're gonna make sure everything's happy there, and then you're gonna put the motors on the hinges. Let's see, this hinge right here accepts the motor. Motors are in this box. This is basically like a left and right, box. But it will all make sense once we get into it and start playing with it. So starting off on the first step, this is where it's already getting kind of contradictive, and I don't understand it, but look at this. You have a quad cab, mega cab, quad cab, mega cab. I don't know. So they don't tell you what's what. We're working on a mega cab. There's two options for a mega cab: 3rd and 7th or 3rd and 8th. What they're talking about, and it says in the instructions, plugs or tape. This one's got tape. So starting up there, you have 1, 2, 3. So here's our 3rd. That's where our front mount's gonna go. And we have 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Could go here, could go there. I'm gonna shoot for 8 because it makes sense, given it's closer to the end of the door. I don't understand why there's two different mega cab options. Both quad cab options are the same, but we're gonna start by taking the tape off of 3 and 8. And now we just need to start putting our mounts in. This is gonna should go pretty quick, so keep up.
so the brackets are on. We got 2 bolts that go through here when you hang the main bracket on. And also, you might not be able to see it on here, but there is a, oh, where is it? It's a little pin. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little pin that slides into a hook on the bracket that we put on the cab, and that will help you align your bolts and keep it sturdy. This thing's not really going anywhere. So far so good. Now all we have to do is put our main pad across the 2, and then it's time to wire them in. Well, I lied. So we got that done. We still have the other side to do, but one at a time. This side's almost done. So with the pad on, the way the instructions explain it, you want to come back 11 inches off the back hinge, and then you're lined up. Make sure you don't tighten anything down until you're ready for it, and I think we are. So we'll tighten everything down, bust out the other side, and then we'll come back and do some wiring.
A few moments later.
So we got the steps on. That part's pretty simple. They're nice, solid, mounted good. Now this is the tricky part, because on this truck we need to wire them now. This piece right here is the one in question. This is where if anybody's gonna have any trouble, it's gonna be right here. This gets run through the firewall into the truck, and what you do with that, now I can only speak for this truck, so different year trucks do different things, but this one, you come in here, and I pulled more of this down than you're gonna have to, than you need to. And if anybody's done this and I'm doing it wrong, please comment down below. But so we have a violet wire, there's violet gray, there's violet and yellow. You can't see the yellow, there it is, the violet and yellow, and then violet and white. So each one of those wires corresponds with a door switch. Front doors, back doors, left, right, whatever. Those need to be wired in to make the steps work. Then, once you have that figured out, then it's basically just plug and play from there. You have, this goes to the battery. You have a module, which I don't have out here right now, but a module for the amp steps plugs into this, and then running down, you're gonna run one of these plugs goes to one step motor, and then you have extra in front of that step motor for the lights. There's actually lights that go down on the pedals. So what we'll have is where's the other one? Right here. There. That's pretty much what we'll end up with in a nutshell. The wiring's not that terrible. It is a little daunting, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad. This is really the only thing that needs run through the firewall and into the cab to tie into the door switch wiring. Then the rest is just on you to make it as nice as possible. I haven't found yet where it kind of tells you which one goes left, which one goes right, but I'm sure that'll be obvious as I go, and I'll show you guys as we go too. But right now the main thing is getting the wires through the firewall and into that main harness. So they provide you with these really nice little wire taps. It's not a Scotch lock, but I mean, it's a little bit better. I'm going to use them, but you know, everybody's going to say that you need to solder and all this fun stuff. We're not. So I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm going to start with the purple and yellow. You take the gray piece. The gray piece goes onto the wire you're tapping into. Get that where you want it. This piece has a needle in it. We're going to just thread that into the wire we're going into. Nice and snug. Purple and yellow, we're going to cut it down a little bit. You want to strip a little bit back, because what this piece does, put this little red guy on here, and then what I'm going to do once that's on is kind of move these out a little bit, because what they're going onto in that connector, you guys probably can't see that. I'll show you guys in a minute, but it basically bunches the other wire around just like that. That's how they go. If you can see it, they are kind of a pain, but just be a little patient with them and they will work. I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna get the other ones done. Don't run it.
It'll look good sitting still.
Yeah, that's all that matters. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, this isn't hard. It's just hot today. We don't get many hot days on the coast. It's a little warm. So we have both sides run as good as we can. Ran this side down the frame. We're gonna zip tie things up, obviously, but went to the motor, plugged it in. This is for the lights. We still need to install lights. But other than that, I think we're about there. I didn't tie anything up under the dash yet until we know they work. So we got the steps working. We got them in. Pretty simple process. The steps went on super quick and easy. The wiring is a bear. The one thing I would recommend if you're doing this, take this panel off, this kick panel, or whatever you want to call it, and there's another harness that comes up toward the cluster. Tie into that harness, because it's going to save you a lot of time. But they're done, they're on. Pretty simple. All this is run clean. No dangling wires, none of that fun stuff. So I'm gonna count this one as a win. And if Amp sees this and they want to put a set on that one, feel free to, let me know. But with all that being said, I'm gonna leave that for you guys today, and see you on the next one.